Great panel that I'm going to introduce to you, joining us to have a talk about where are we going in the future. So we have with us Jessica Shea, Senior Director of Spa Fitness Operations for the Americas.
I don't know.
We have Annet King, VP of Business Development for Bio-Therapeutic. And we have Tammy Pahel, Vice President of Spa and Wellness for Carillon, Miami. So welcome to our panelists. So our topic for today, which we're going to turn to right now, is and great that you're all in the chat already. Great. What's next for spas? We're all in the spa business, but the spa business has come a long way, as this picture shows. Some of us have been around almost long enough to remember this. Don't raise your hands. So I wanted to speak today about what do we do? Where do we go from here in our industry? We're both buyers and spas and vendors, rather. Sorry. You know, what's the next step? And I think there are things we were working toward, but that the pandemic may have accelerated. So again, here are the attendees on here, and you will have their contact information later. We have a chat. So please, some of you are already going into the chat and making notes and saying hi. That's great. We will be monitoring the chat throughout our talk. So if you have questions, that's the beauty of being live, is you can ask a question and we will get to it. So the next slide I want to show you is kind of the cornerstone of our discussion today. If everybody can see this. These numbers are given to us by the Global Wellness Institute. And we're so happy to have them because we didn't have numbers for our industry for such a long time. And our business is estimated at $3.5 trillion in annual dollars, which is fantastic, right? And there are so many elements to wellness, and you see the different bubbles here. So when I look at this, I see the green in the lower right. That's the spa economy bubble. We're not the biggest one. We're not even like the second to biggest one. And we have $119 billion estimated, worth in a year, our revenue created in a year, but we're being well overtaken by some of the other sectors here. Now, there is some overlapping, and for instance, personal care and beauty, that's already a $1 trillion market, and that's products, many of the products people that are on here. But it's not that our market is not growing at the rate that the others are. And I'm wondering if it's time for us in spa to say, what do we need to do to change and evolve our model to be of interest in the near future? We've seen massive changes in the last 10 years, an interest in wellness, an interest in making oneself better, an understanding of personal responsibility from the consumer on how they should be well. But we as spas have not changed a lot in the last 25 years. So where does that take us? And I have a few more slides to share with you when I look at what's happening in the market now. Coronavirus has obviously really accelerated the demand for clean, for wellness, for hygiene, for sanitation. And consumers are now, of course, super interested in that. And as a result, we're seeing an acceleration of the deals with the top one really got our attention 2 weeks ago. Lululemon buying Mirror for $500 million. Wow. So investors that are not from our industry are looking at us and saying, maybe we should play in this space. The bottom company, I don't know if you're familiar with, Restore Hyper Wellness, surpassing 50 locations, and this is cryotherapy and halotherapy, or rather infrared sauna alone. So again, more money coming into wellness, the wellness industry. Is that an opportunity for us? I believe it is, but that's why we have panelists. So away from the slides and back to our esteemed panel. I hope the sound is getting better. Thank you for those of us chatting. We are in various parts of the country with various technology issues, but we are doing our best to bring you a clear and clarified program. So here we are July, August of 2020, looking forward, I'd like to talk to our panelists about their views from their industry sectors on where they see spa going. We have Annet representing vendors. We have Tammy representing a single owner-operated spa and wellness center. And we have Jessica representing Hilton, a chain. So I'm going to start with Jessica and ask her, what do you think, Jessica? What do you see the changes coming that you might envision in our market? Whether or not they're pandemic driven, but what do you think when you get back to work? And by the way, you manage 33 spas in the Americas. How many of those are open?
Thanks, Lisa. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks for having me. Right now we have about 10 spas in some degree of openness. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster over the last few months, as I'm sure everybody feels. And of course, our immediate need is making sure our hotel spas open safely, that the team is comfortable, that the guests are comfortable, that the sanitation is elevated, you know, all of those things that are going to give reassurances and confidence back to our industry, or I shouldn't say back, we've had it for a long time, but we want our guests to feel that spas are still a safe haven that is necessary. I think that more than ever, well-being will be at the top of mind for all travelers. If you're going to go out, if you're going to get on a plane, if you're going to go to a hotel, you're going to be so much more aware of what that entity is doing, not just to provide relaxation, but to really safeguard your well-being and what sort of opportunities there are to improve your well-being. And so I think what we're thinking about is how well-being strategically plays throughout the entire guest stay. And, you know, this is something we've been thinking about for a long time, but I think it's even more of a strategic priority in how we can, in the sleep experience, the food experience, you know, beyond the four walls of the spa, deliver that to our guests and make sure that they are feeling everything positive we want them to feel while we're there. So whether it's location specific or technologically forward thinking, we're really investigating all kinds of things to make sure that we are delivering on that expectation.
Can you give us an example of what kinds of things?
Well, I thought it was interesting you mentioned things like cryo and infrared. You know, there's some question marks right now, for example, around steam and sauna. So we've been looking at how can we potentially repurpose some of those spaces, either short or long term. There's a lot of spaces in hotels at the moment, unfortunately, that are being underutilized. So beautiful guest suites with balconies, and, you know, how can we provide experiences? Again, this is sort of immediate, to make sure that we're, delivering those amenities and those experiences that guests want in maybe less conventional spaces. And I think that over time, we'll start to look at how that evolves, again, throughout more of the hotel experience, and where the well-being touches need to be.
Okay, great. I'm going to pause just for a moment and do the first poll. So attendees, please watch your screen. I'm going to put up a poll, and this is for everyone, both vendors and buyers. So please just click on the answer that you think is appropriate to you, and we'll try and sprinkle some of these throughout. As you know, when we are live together, we use whiteboards and more chatting to kind of gather information, and we don't have that advantage right now. So we just like to have a sense of, from those of you watching, how you think 2020 will end up. Because obviously for many spas in particular, it's not going to be the year it was predicted, and yet we're hearing some places are doing well, and especially on the resource partner side, some vendors' business is up. So I just want to have a sense of, from our attendees, what you're feeling or seeing. We do know that as spas open around the country, they have become pretty busy pretty quickly, even though there are capacity limitations. And so that's a good sign that people are coming back. I'm going to close the poll in about 10 seconds. We've had, let's see, we got 15, about 20 people have answered. So thank you for that, if that has been you. Okay, so I'm going to close the poll. And I'm going to go back now to Annet, representing our vendors. Thank you for joining us, Annet. Bio-Therapeutic is a very forward-thinking company, and they have a lot of exciting new products to share. So I'm wondering, Annet, what your viewpoint is, like, as you've gone through this pandemic, as a company, have you made changes to what you believe you will offer in the future?
Yeah, I mean, we very quickly, you know, worked with our different raw material suppliers and brought a line to the market called Bio-Therapeutic. And this is made up of PPE, so basically smart masks. Our masks are 3 layers and lined with silver ion technology. We brought a thermometer to the market, infrared and touchless. We brought fields to the market, and we've now got several line extensions that we're adding in. So we quickly said, you know what, big equipment for a second is going to be on hold. How can we support our industry? What are they looking for? What can we bring to the table really quickly? And David Suzuki, our founder and owner, was just, you know, incredible how quickly we managed to do that and bring this very high quality level PPE to the table. So we've actually experienced all kinds of things that we didn't expect. So we're actually 20% up over last year.
That's amazing.
Yeah, whereas everybody else is really struggling in so many ways. We, you know, deliberately kept BT Protect to be very, very affordable. There's hardly any margins there, but we want to be able to make it accessible to everyone. Our online training, which is something which I know many of our viewers, you know, are very aware of, is like everybody got back online and said, I'm going to do all my online education, all the things that I always wanted to do that I never have any time for because I'm constantly in the room or managing my, you know, boatloads of staff. You know, we've seen over a 300% increase on people taking our online education. And we were one of the very fortunate vendors that we'd already built a very robust online training system. Whereas other vendors who did more hands-on training, who didn't have online training, they really struggled. And we quickly moved also to doing, you know, 2 live stream Zoom webinars, one for our European partners and account, and one for our US account. We literally, I'm not using that keyword because everyone's so over everybody using that word, but we quickly kind of switched gears and said, okay, this is the new day for everybody. How can we support everyone as much as we can? What can we do? What can we bring out? I personally did one-on-one consultations with a lot of Starr around the country that I could, you know, help them to navigate changing their menu, changing their design a little bit, looking at staffing, looking at resources, looking at staggering timetables, looking at what you need to post up in your spa and communicate out to your clients at this time to make them feel really comfortable about coming back in. So, you know, it was actually, while it has been a very difficult time, in some ways, from an innovation standpoint, it's been a very exciting time for us.
Mm-hmm. Well, good for you for taking advantage and jumping right in there. I mean, this really is sort of a 2-part issue, right? We have the immediate now of getting through probably the end of 2020,
right?
Minimum. And then we have sort of, what is our runway going forward, right? I mean, what will the long-term effects will be? And we don't know, right? So you want to plan now, but you're not certain. So I'm going to go to Tammy. Tammy represents an amazing facility. If you haven't been there, Carillon, Miami is a residence, it's a hotel, it's a restaurant, it's an incredible fitness center, spa, wellness center. There are very few options that she doesn't offer there. So, Tammy, what is your viewpoint on what spas will look like going forward?
You know, I have to agree with both ladies on some of the comments they had so far. I do think it's more than a new normal. I don't think we'll ever go back to some of the things. I think there's some pluses. I mean, as an operator, you learn what's working and what's not working, and you pivot quickly to fix that, to remedy it. And as an operator right now, we're open on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And I have to say that the most, I will always have massages, facials, and body treatments. They will never change. But I do think that moving to the touchless wellness technology is the answer for right now, because people are looking for wellness. They're looking for an opportunity to go and escape, because a lot of people have been stuck in their homes, stuck with their families. Even though we love our families, everybody wants to get away and
5 months of every day is too much, right?
Yeah, 24 hours a day for 4 months. But, you know, everybody wants to get away. So what we've seen here is beyond people calling and asking, what are we doing for sanitization and disinfecting? People are asking, what other option do I have to come and visit you? Because we have a thermal area that has about 8 different heat activations. That's closed right now. The CDC doesn't allow that, or our locker rooms to be open. So what do people have to do for wellness? So we're fortunate because we've got about 10 different partners that have provided us amazing touchless wellness technology. Halo, I think somebody mentioned it. Halo is one of them, an amazing company. And because it's an individual, it's not a group, we can have it open and we can sell it as a treatment. So they're breathing the salt, which is great for the respiratory. The infrared, we all know that's healing and detoxifying. But we have other things like cryotherapy, vibrogenics. Vibrogenics is great sound therapy, and it's great for the body. People that have bursitis or people that have a lymphatic problem, you can get on this piece of equipment for 20 minutes a couple times a week. We have Rasha, which is healthy for our mind and our brains, which we all know we need a lot of help in the brain department right now because we're dealing and coping with so many things. We have Spa Wave, which is by Sammy Greeny, and that is takes you to a beta sleep in 10 minutes. Light Stem, which is great for anti-aging, reducing fine lines, but it's also great for people that have rheumatoid arthritis, for aches and pains. Prism is a new company that we're working with. It has 6 different options for wellness. So it could be weight management. It could be muscle recovery. They also have...
It's a device or something?
Yeah, yes, it's like a capsule and you get inside of it, and it's color therapy, it's vibrational, but there's 6 different options for it, which is amazing because, again, everybody's different. Everybody's looking for different things. And then our last partner is Vemi. And Vemi, we're creating a lounge suite. And basically what it is vibrational sound therapy, but it also has electromagnetic field that clears your cells from EMF, which we get from cells. But we have some really cool things, and people are more interested in those things right now. That doesn't mean, I mean, somebody had asked me, well, how much are you booking? Well, right now, about 20% of our bookings are going towards touchless wellness technology because people do want to return to the spa. And then we have a beautiful beach here so people can go to the beach. We have a pool that's a saltwater pool that people can enjoy too. But at the end of the day, no, I don't think massage will ever go away for me, for sure. I love massage. Facials and body treatments is never going to go away. But I do think right now for people to return and to feel relaxed, beyond worrying about sanitization and how we're disinfecting, they want to know, once I'm here, what can I do to calm myself? People are having lots of problems with being calm.
So I'm interested to ask you, Tammy, before the pandemic, you had much of this equipment. I visited you in January and tried some of it myself. How has the demand changed from then to now?
Well, because I've been on a lot of panels and we've done a lot of media for the Carillon on touchless wellness technology, not knowing the pandemic was going to happen or we would face what we're facing, I started working on wellness technology about a year ago. So now, because of the articles that have been written in Miami about the Carillon and all that we're offering, we see more people interested. And now we have it on our website. And when you were here, Lisa, you tried a couple things, but now we have so much more to offer when it comes to the technology side of it that we didn't have. I mean, when you were here, I think I had maybe 4 things. Now we have 10 different options for people to enjoy as part of a spa experience.
Well, Tammy, good for you for being so prescient and thinking ahead. You know, it puts you in a lucky spot. And now we want to learn from that, the rest of us, you know, what can we do? I think we all agree that facials, body treatments, massage, human touch is the cornerstone of what we do. And I believe it always will be. It's what sets us apart, right? We don't want to have sort of the car wash for humans where you just go through and you push some buttons. And yet in these times where consumers are so nervous about touch and they crave it and yet they're afraid, and especially I think in Florida, for one state that's having a spike and has a large elderly population that's at risk. So it really pays to have those options. So thank you for that, Tammy. I'm going to come back to you, but I'm going to do another poll. This is a 2-part poll. So we're going to test how well you pay attention. Part 1 is for suppliers only. So suppliers only, I'm wondering when you expect to travel again. Will it be Q3, Q4, Q1 of next year, or you really don't know, or maybe you've already started and I should have had another option in there. Most people I've spoken with have not been doing travel yet. And it's funny because all of us fly all the time. I myself was a 100,000 mile a year flyer, and I haven't been to the airport since March. It's kind of strange. So of course it will pick up, but we're not sure how quickly or when, and that's why it's great to hear from our attendees who are pretty split all over the board here. All right, I'm going to close that poll, and then I'm going to go to one for the buyers. So the next poll for buyers has to do with your spending budget, which is maybe a tough word at the moment because I know for many of you budget is non-existent, but it's good to know, do you have any? Is it the same as before or less? Is it going to be contingent upon your results for the rest of the year? And of course it's going to vary based on whether you're in a chain or a standalone facility. But we do believe, and the results we're seeing here are concurring, that most people have less than their typical budget to spend. 2020, boy, we would like a do-over on this year, wouldn't we? It has really been a test for us. All right, I'm going to close that poll in a few seconds. Thank you again for everyone for this. If you've been with us before, you will know that we take these polls and we extrapolate from them and we expound upon them and we share the results with everyone, which we'll do in our newsletter, which will come up shortly. We have a monthly newsletter. So I'm going to sweep back to Jessica now. And Jessica, you mentioned that, you know, in a big brand like Hilton, the spa is it's not so easy to open until you can know that the spa makes money. So what do you do in the meantime to get the spas ready to reopen? Is there anything you can do in the interim? How does it work in a big brand like yours?
Well, I think it's not about maybe making immediate money. I think we have to take a really balanced approach to how we reopen, recognizing that the spas create demand, and based on the market and based on the resort and based on the expectation of the guests, there's many instances where a spa probably needs to be open, even if it's not going to be making a lot of money. I mean, we're also very conscious of our owners and what they're going through. This has been a very, very, very difficult time for lots of owners of hotels, and we want to make sure that we're, you know, being intelligent about how we're reopening and that the spa is not contributing to greater losses. So I think it's about making sure that we're mitigating that, but also offering the amenity and the experience that guests expect. And with, like, as Tammy mentioned, some of the amenities being closed, you know, we are looking at things, as I mentioned, you know, poolside massage in cabanas, massage on balconies, in-room fitness, you know, providing those things in ways that maybe are a little bit, you know, not what we're used to, or a little non-traditional, and trying to get that loyalty back, especially when we also look at our local, some of our spas have local, a lot of local business. So what are they looking for? What are they comfortable with? And how can they contribute to supporting the larger flourishing and reopening of the spas?
We did have a question in the chat which was addressed by that, but which was from Lisa Jacobs, and thank you, Lisa. What outside or outdoor the spa walls solutions and demand do we see for future facility design and programming? So these things you're talking about, Jessica, do you see them lasting? Do you think that next summer we'll be talking about having spa services in outdoor space?
I think it's something that we've been talking about for a while, and something that people love. I mean, you travel all around the world, you know, Lisa, you know, you have an opportunity for an outdoor spa experience in the right setting. It's almost like nothing else. So I think that that's only just going to continue to grow. I think actually a lot of the trends that we were seeing before this happened, and this might just kind of set them on fire a little bit. And as they continue to grow, I know in some of the projects we're working on, we've really been pushing, you know, in things that we're looking on a couple of years down the road to really look at the outdoor spaces and how we can make better use of them in the right climates, in the right markets, because it's really special. It can be a really, really special experience. And obviously, the little things we know about this virus is that it does feel a bit safer outside. So I think it has some immediate impact and some long-term benefit.
And Tammy, I'll swing back to you, since you have a lot of outdoor space at your disposal. Are you planning to utilize any of it for treatments or revenue-driven activities?
Yeah, to Jessica's point, yes, we are focusing on adding. We don't have currently cabanas, but we're exploring the opportunity to add some outdoor cabanas. We have 4 pools on our property. We have one of the largest beachfront properties. So that is something we're looking at. But currently, right now, our big thing is the touchless wellness technology. That's what we've really expanded from where we were. But to Jessica's point, yes, we're going to explore more outdoor experiences.
Well, I'm laughing because of all days, right? You're having a hurricane today, so this wouldn't be a good day for outside activities. Other than Arizona, I think there's no place where it's perfect all the time. But we need options. And you're right, people are more comfortable with being outside at this point. But, you know, there's noise and bugs and, you know, other issues outside that you can't control as well. Let's come back to technology. I'm going to do another very quick poll. This is a supplier poll, and I'd like to know from suppliers, other than hand sanitizer, which many of you jumped on and started producing, have you developed any other new products, or do you plan to as a result of COVID? We'll see how their runway is pretty long too, so we'll see what they think about changing what they offer. And it's obviously not apropos for every type of supplier, equipment versus products versus linens or something, but right now we're pretty much split. People are pretty split down the middle between yes and no. Okay, thank you for that. So on that supplier note, I'm going to swing back to Annet and ask you, Annet, and Bio-Therapeutic, I know you raced to market with some new technology, but you also had some in the works. Do you have plans, or has David dreamed up any new exciting things that you think will change their direction because of COVID?
Yeah, I think, you know, one of our very, very popular top selling, we call our BT gear line, which are small handheld pieces of equipment that you can use outside of the treatment room. We even have like a technology belt that you can even wear these pieces of equipment on. And then things like our BT Sonic and our BT Micro, which are our top selling ultrasonic and micro sonic blade that we make. And we, you know, the Vision 2.0 is our set of magnifying headset that we use with, you know, 4 different lenses you can plop in. You can see the skin more clearly. So great for doing close-up work and extractions on the skin, as well as doing brows, you know, waxing. People find all different uses for them. And we quickly pivoted and brought a shield out that clips onto those glasses. So, you know, we're looking at, you know, how does the skin therapist work? How does the massage therapist work? How can we make their life easier by bringing out some protective equipment that slots into other things that they're doing? One of the things that we always use at Bio-Therapeutic is we call silver ion technology. And many of you know, silver vibrates in a way that is actually antibacterial, germicidal. There's new studies coming out about being antiviral. So everywhere that we have a device that contacts with the skin, or even if it's, you know, a pair of glasses, we make sure that we're using the silver ion, which we infuse into silicone. We're making sure that we're using that in those spots and places. So for us, we're constantly looking at, okay, where can we use this technology? What new things can we bring out? How can we make the life easier for the skin therapist and the massage therapist as well? We also have a lot of cosmetologists that also buy, particularly our BT Protect and BT line. So I think we all have been challenged. But we kind of challenged also how we do business. We've always done free shipping, but now we quickly moved and said, you know what, we'll ship to your customers for you free of charge. So you don't have to, as a spa owner, worry about boxing things up, you know, having to charge shipping to your customers. We'll drop ship directly to your customers for you. So we have our BT Pharmaceuticals line, which is made up of about 35 different products, all designed to use with technology. And, you know, we quickly said to all of our customers across the US, we'll ship to your clients for you. Don't even worry about it. You're at home. You're not even home right now. We can do that for you. So I think the challenge is all of us to say, how can we support our vendors, our customers better and more at the time? How can we understand them? What special discounts and financing, et cetera, are we able to do them right now? And then how can we look at how we design our technology that it is not only very safe to use, really modern thinking in that this is something, just like Tammy says, this is going to be the new normal going forward. We're really going to challenge what we're using, how we're using it, what ingredients are in something, if something's touching the skin, you know, how sanitizable is it? What's that machine doing for me to be safe, myself to be safe, and my customers?
Well, the pandemic has certainly accelerated, I think, the consumer's awareness of that. As an industry, we've always been extremely hygienic and clean and sanitary. I mean, it's the nature of what we do. We have state boards that make sure that we do. But this made the consumers more aware. And as we've seen so much in hospitality, kind of bringing that thing we used to keep behind the curtain out front. You know, we didn't want to see someone wiping a restaurant table or vacuuming a floor. And now we want to show that we are clean, sanitary, hygienic. It's not just this virus. We'll conquer this virus, but then what? I mean, I expect there will be another virus. As the world becomes more global and we are all traveling so much, we saw how quickly this spread. So I'm really interested personally in how our awareness will change of this in the future, not just for our industry, but for but for humans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Tammy, let me come back to you and ask you, you have a wrinkle in your operation, which is that you have residents. You have people living there, and you've had to keep them there this whole time. So who are they the ones coming into the spa now, or is it outside guests? What's your mix?
It actually is, I'd tell you, it's probably still my local community. Generally speaking, when we're hotels open, when all the residents are here, 50% of my revenue comes from the local community, 30% comes from the hotel, and 20% comes from the resident. Right now, it is split between resident and locals. Our residents, you know, we provide a lot of services for them. Generally speaking, we have 180 fitness classes a week. We're now at 100, and out of 100, we have about 70 that are live and another 30 that we live stream into their units. So
I love that.
Yeah. And we'll have, and when we open the hotel, we'll be live streaming about 30 classes, fitness classes. So if we do have resort guests that are here for a fitness and want to enjoy it, whether it's Zumba or ballroom dancing, because we have a big, large gamut of where we go, TRX, you know, Pilates mat classes, we have a variety. So the good thing about live streaming is that we're able to be in front of our residents daily, those that are afraid to still, even though we social distance, and even in our fitness classes, it's 10 feet in front, 10 feet behind you, and 10 feet either side. So we definitely have a larger space, and we keep people social distancing about larger, like instead of 6 feet, it's 10 feet. But we still have residents that are interested in staying in their own unit, doing their fitness program. You know, a lot of people have lived here for 7-8 years, so they have the instructor of their dreams that they follow, and they're not going to anybody else but them. So you have that. And then our membership, we also have a local membership that we also created, actually using Big Marker to do fitness classes. So we have, generally speaking, about 21 fitness classes, 3 a day for our membership. So one thing that I think has made us all much better when we're doing business is technology has changed how we do business and how we provide business. I mean, look at us. I have done more panel discussions through Zoom, Big Marker, you name it. I've probably done in the last 4 months, probably 10 different talks. So it's how we're doing business, I think, has made us smarter. I think it's going to make us smarter moving forward. And again, we're able to provide services to our residents, fitness classes that for the person that's afraid to come out and participate live classes, they can stay in their comfort of their own home.
Well, it's so great to have the options. I mean, I love the sound of that. If you're in your resident and you don't feel like running down to the gym, you just do it in your room. And I think there are other technology related changes that we'll probably stick with. As you said, spa folks, we're not that technology oriented generally. So we've had to have a big learning curve here, a lot of us, on getting up to speed. But we know that when it works beautifully. Now, I'd like to address one of our audience questions from Jason. Thank you for that, Jason. He asked about the heat and water facilities that are closed. Are you offering a value add or a discount in place of those? I'm going to jump out on a limb here and say that what I've seen is that we are not seeing discounts in lieu of, I'm sorry, you can't use the sauna or the steam or the whirlpool, because we know the slippery slope that brings us to. After 2008, we all learned that lesson. But I'd like to hear from our panelists. I'm going to start with you, Tammy, and then go to you, Jessica, on this. Tammy, your thermal suite, which is a huge component, is also not open, correct?
Yeah. Well, because we're looking for, our hotel's not open. So we're really depending on the local community and the resident to support us financially and to keep my therapist busy, right? So we did do, most of our services are about $189. So what we did across the board was $159, and that includes using the Salt Atlantic's pool as well as the beach chair. And they can pick any 50-minute facial body treatment or massage, excluding tissue. But yeah, I mean, we did do that because we need to generate the business, because a lot of our people have come back from furlough and they need to make money, and they have 3 days to make money in. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is the only time that we're open currently.
So this $159, I get a treatment and access to some of the other amenities, but it's a one-shot deal, not a membership issue.
Right.
Okay, good. Now, Jessica, let me come to you and say, has Hilton made any plans about that? And you have many luxury facilities with beautiful thermal amenities. So how do you see that rolling out as they reopen?
Well, I would say similar to what Tammy was saying, it's not really a question of, well, we have the steam room closed, so we're offering a discount. It's more of, we, yield our pricing and put pricing out there strategically throughout the year at our properties, and it's market dependent and seasonally dependent. So I'd say, we'll probably consider this a low season. so they might, the spas might initiate, some specific business demand related pricing, but that's not in every case. I mean, a few of the spas that we have open have been quite busy. I mean, the demand has been very strong, and even if the steam and sauna are closed, there really hasn't been a need to have to do any sort of promotional incentive. So it's really case by case, but I wouldn't say it's due to certain things being closed. I'd say it's because we want to get the volume to where we need it to be to operate smartly.
Great. Yeah, well, of course, we do need to get people coming back. And to me, the scary part of the moment is that we felt like we had momentum, right? We were closed 3 months. June, late May, June, places started to reopen. It felt like, okay, we're coming out of the woods. And then boom, surges, reclosings for some facilities. Some of my consulting clients opened and closed. And to me, the fear now is that the spa is a habit that people will fall out of. It's been so long, and we want that habit to be reacquired as quickly as possible. So whatever we have to do to get them back out of their house and into our facility, to remember, oh yes, I love it here, these people take good care of me, and they resume that habit. We have a question from Jennifer on for Tammy and Jessica, and I will get to you in a minute, Annette. Have you noticed a decline in therapists willing to work in this time? And I would say we've seen that across the country. Not everyone wants to come back. What are you seeing? Jessica, you first.
Again, I think it's pretty market dependent, and we've had some areas where therapists are really excited and really want to get back to work as quickly as possible, and that's happened in quite a few cases. And then there are just some that, for personal reasons, are just not as comfortable. So it's kind of mixed. But I would say the desire to get back to work is there. It's feeling safe and feeling comfortable and feeling like the timing is right for them. That can be a challenge in specific spas.
And Tammy, what are you seeing? Yeah, very similar to Jessica. We have 24 treatment rooms. We have to operate at 50% occupancy. We can have 12 therapists a day on the weekends here. The interesting part is we try to bring back 24, and only 14 were willing to join us back at this time. And a lot of it is not just because they don't want to return. We have mothers that have 3 kids. They're single mothers. What are they going to do? How are they going to come back to work? And they have 3 kids, and you're not going to put them in a daycare. And if you don't live by family, we have a lot of therapists who have mothers. I mean, I have my 80-year-old mother who's living with me, right? So I'm very careful of what I'm doing, but there's a lot of therapists that say, I'm not returning. I'm a caretaker for my father, my mother. I can't chance getting anything. So it's what Jessica said. It's really, everybody has a different reason, but I don't think it is ever, so far what I've heard, everybody wants to return. It's the circumstance that they personally are in that doesn't allow them to return.
Well, and now we have the added uncertainty with the schools, where depending on your state or your area, we don't know if kids are going back or not, or part-time. In my area, they're supposed to go 2 days a week. I don't know how working parents will manage this. And I'm glad my kids are out of school, but it's a challenge across the country for sure. Let's jump back to Annet, and I'd like to ask her a question about change in the future. That's something that you and I chatted about, Annet, was what did we learn from this? Like, what did you learn as a company that you might do differently in the future?
Yeah, I think every company, and I think also every spa has looked at this and said, okay, you know, what do we really need to focus on? You know, I would say the big thing that most of the spa owners that I've spoken to is reevaluating that menu and saying, okay, let's have a really severe, harsh look at this now, and look at, you know, what services need to stay and what services need to go away. And, you know, it's kind of like that torn between, I want results, particularly when it comes to skin, because we really heavily focus, obviously, on skin care and getting results on the skin. So, you know, that's never going to change. We're all still very interested in maintaining this work that we've done on our skin. And I would say that's an area where clients are demanding, you know, how soon can I get back in? I don't want to undo all the great results that I've achieved together with my therapist. So I think, you know, menus definitely need to be reevaluated. I think, you know, you're going to focus on those things that are really important, those things that are really popular. I think that from a manufacturer point of view right now, everybody's much like 2009, everybody is looking for, well, what else are you going to do for me? So if you're a vendor and you're not doing any kind of specials or any kind of bonuses, or you're not looking at your equipment in a way of how to pull a couple together, you know, people are very, very price now. You know, we've lost millions in the trillions of dollars in our industry. So to expect me to make some massive, you know, $27,000 investment in one piece of machinery, that's easy. However, I will be looking at my treatment room, my menu, and saying what stage, what goes, do I need to focus on, and where am I going to get a great deal and great support from my supplier. So all of the vendors need to stop and reevaluate how we do business and come to a place in how can we support our partners and how can we help them at this time.
That's a great point and a great position. We thank you for taking that, and it leads me nicely into my last poll. You'll be happy to know this is a poll for buyers. The question is, how likely are you buyers to add additional treatments to your menu or products to retail that have been influenced by the pandemic? So looking ahead, do you see changes in either your retail or your service that will stick around? I mean beyond selling hand sanitizer. So we'll take a moment while people answer that. I'm going to check the chat and see if we have any more questions. I know we had one around social that I want to get to. And thank you for those of you that are answering each other's questions in the chat. That's great. Take advantage of this to chat with each other. Okay, and I will end that poll now. Okay, I want to jump back to my slides and talk about where do we go from here. as the future comes up, right? So, not to be scary, but I have 4 companies listed here who were huge players in their market, and they failed to react to the future. Kodak developed the first digital camera in 1975, and when the engineers brought it to the management said, well, what are we going to do with that? We can't sell film, right? We're in the film business, so let's not make one, right? Where is Kodak today? We have Nokia, market leader in global phones and mobile phones, but they were really focused on hardware, not the software component. Blockbuster, we all used to go to Blockbuster, constantly, right? And they turned down a Netflix partnership. Netflix went to them in 2000 and proposed a partnership, and they said, no, thank you, we think we're good. Well, we see where that left them. And lastly, BlackBerry. Many of us had Blackberries, myself as well, but that company, stayed with their sort of interface with the keypad and didn't worry about the software. I just want to think about, for spas, how we go forward from here and make sure that we don't all just return to the same old thing. And many of you indicated in the poll that you would change your menu, which I think is great. I don't think we need wholesale changes, but I think we need to be open to the new. And I have a few examples for you here. This is a wellness center that offers some spa treatments. It has a movement studio, it has an herbal apothecary and cafe, and of course, sustainable, a zero waste company. When I travel, I'm seeing these different elements coming together, which I find really interesting. I don't know how many of you have heard of Remedy Place. It's on Sunset Boulevard in West Hollywood. It just opened in December of 2019. And it is a beautiful 4,500 square foot space with a lounge and a meditation room and a bar that serves kombucha and no toxins, no alcohol. And they have hyperbaric chamber, cryotherapy, halotherapy, sauna, chiropractic, etc. So they call themselves a social wellness club, not a spa, right? But that's a very future-looking example. And I just came across this little spa in San Luis Obispo last week on another webinar. A woman that had massage and facials in her spa, and she wants to do more. She brought in a Somodome meditation pod. She brought in halotherapy and other therapies. So I'm interested in where we think spa will go from here, right? Now that we are faced with the challenge of staffing, clients not wanting touch, what does the future look like? I would go to Jessica first, but she's not here. She's had some tech issues. We'll see if she comes back. But Annette, since your mic is on, I'm going to come back to you for that as we close out. What do you think the future looks like for the spa industry?
Well,
Lisa,
I think.
Yes, we hear you.
I think.
I am here.
Okay, good. Go ahead, Annette.
I think, I know we are all feeling it personally too, other than Tammy there, who's like back in her location, probably never even stopped a day,
no, I don't think she
managing a gazillion people and all of the beautiful things that come with the spa operations. But I think, the one thing is, yes, we might be worried right now about touch. Yes, we're looking for touchless. We're looking for, these very more sort of clinical, clean, sterile type of environment for right now. But at the end of the day, we also have a huge population that are craving touch and are craving to be together again. I live up here in the hills of Pasadena, and I'm pretty much, self-quarantined the entire time because I live very far away from anybody. So I haven't seen a lot of people, and that's a lot of our customers too. So they actually want to get back into the space, see you, come with their friends, come with their family. They're craving personal touch and to be touched in a way that isn't of a risk to them, obviously. So I think, the future of our industry is very positive, is very, very strong. Sometimes it's not until something is taken away from you that you realize how much you really value it. And whether that's a meal in a restaurant with a girlfriend, whether that's family gatherings, whether that's going to the spa and having our services and spending the day there and unplugging and rewinding and rehabilitating and regenerating, I think the consumer is going to want those things. Not every consumer. There's certain personality types that may not return again. So we need to be prepared for that. And I think from an owner standpoint and a spa director standpoint, you need to be able to offer something for the very scared people, that you're communicating the message of all the steps that you've taken, that you're offering touchless skin treatments and facials with your wet dry microdermabrasion and your ultrasonic blades and your oxygen and your LED, all of which can be performed without me having to really put my hands on you very much. But then for the group that really want manual massage and want to be touched and crave that human touch from you because they may not get any in their personal life or family life whatsoever, you also need to offer something for them. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I think it's a case of you can't try and do everything in one specific direction. You need to be able to offer something for everyone. The communication of how safely you're doing it, how clean you are in how you're doing it, and all the precautions that you've taken, that goes for everyone.
So what I'm hearing you say, Annette, is options. And certainly if all of our guests do not return, if some remain fearful, we need new guests, right? So Jessica, if you can hear me, what do you think the future will look like as the spas come back online? What do you envision?
Hi, Lisa. Yeah, you know, similar to what Annette was saying, I think that we need to be really laser focused on doing what we do and doing it well. I think people are going to want things that are authentic, that are impactful. I mean, that can range from anti-aging to immunity to even, you know, spiritual transformation. But whatever it is, it has to have effect. It has to have impact. I kind of go back to what I said at the beginning, that well-being is on the top of people's minds. And if they're going to venture into these experiences, they want it to be effective and lasting, not kind of a lot of fluff. So I think we need to be mindful of that as we look at the business. And, you know, we've talked a lot about technology, and I certainly think that we as an industry do need to very much so move in that direction. But I also think there is a place to kind of what Annette was saying is about touch. And it may not be physical touch. You know, I'm a big believer, we talked about this, Lisa, in energy work. And I think that people during this time have had a lot of time to be introspective, whether they want to be or not. You know, it has been a lot of personal time. And I think they're going to have a different perspective coming out of that. And what can we do within our spas to help that journey, to help that kind of energetic healing work that's been going on. And I think that we have an opportunity there as well. So it's sort of the other kind of technology, maybe it's human technology, but looking at energy work and how that is touchless and feels more comfortable, but can also really inspire change within people that they're looking for.
Well, that's what we're here for, right? To inspire change that's lifelong and lasting. Tammy, I'm back to you for 20 seconds if you have some good closing nugget for us.
No, I'm just going to echo what Jessica's saying. You know, here at the Carillon, we also have a tremendous amount of beyond spa treatments and wellness. We also have a whole nother segment of wellness where we do have Reiki. We do have Sifu Matthew, who does healing.
Right.
We
Carillon,
have Carillon, she's a therapist. We have a thing called Carillon Conversations for the local community, for our own team to listen to, for people that are looking for relief mentally. Carillon Pataki, Dr. Pataki she speaks on, you know, how we're reacting to circumstances and helps people walk through their personal trauma that they're having. So I think it goes beyond spa, wellness. We also need different types of therapies. We do need people helping us walk through and navigate our personal lives right now. It's it's been a change for everyone. So
no kidding. That's putting it mildly.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate all of my panelists' input, and thank you for the questions from my panel and the attendees. We hope you have found this interesting and useful. We could talk for another hour, but you have meetings to attend. I want to sum up by saying what I'm hearing is we feel like spa will be back, but it may look different, and we need to be open to those possibilities in the future. So good luck with your afternoon meetings. Thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the day.